Accept your death.
So about a week and a half ago, I got kind of a stomach bug, and it was very uncomfortable. I didn't like it at all, and unfortunately, it happened on my days off too, which kind of sucked. But it got me thinking about, like a little bit more about gut health and that kind of thing. And as I was kind of sick lying in bed anyway, I started looking into fiber a little bit more, because I've always been big on fiber, but I never actually knew like how much you're supposed to be having. And I looked it up, and like the average male is supposed to have between somewhere between 25 and 28 grams of fiber a day.
That's crazy.
I wasn't coming anywhere close to that. Like I was
That's
like,
crazy. That's my fiber intake for the week.
Yeah, so like I've spent the last probably week or so just trying to hit that target every day, and it's like it's a lot easier than I actually thought it was going to be. And I've introduced like some really new things to my diet, like a lot of legumes and stuff like that. And I gotta say, I'm feeling a lot better. I feel like when I eat, I'm like more full. I feel full longer. I don't have like a kind of an annoying kind of uncomfortableness in my gut after I eat, which I didn't really realize I had until it stopped happening. And I was like, oh wow, I actually feel good. And
yeah, the silence becomes deafening, like you notice the absence. That's cool. So what is your how gassy you feeling with that kind of diet, I guess?
Well, again, I wanted to start this on my days off because I didn't want to be like, turbo boosting around work,
Like crop dusting the front counter.
Yeah, exactly. So luckily, because I was reading that like some people, and it's an old trope or whatever, but beans can make a lot of people kind of gassy. But it's kind of a genetic thing, kind of like the whole like cilantro tasting like soap gene thing. But luckily, I'm not one of those people. Beans seem to be, they do their job without, brisking me around. So it's been good. And I've been trying a lot of new dishes and a lot of new sides. And there was things that like I was eating before that I didn't realize like had like so much fiber in it, like broccoli. I really enjoy broccoli. I didn't realize it's one of like the higher fiber things to have. So I just kind of like,
yeah, it's one of the hallowed greens for that sort of stuff, right? That's like your go-to natural sources, things like broccoli.
Yeah, so like I've just been kind of like doubling up on that on my meals, and because it was something that I would have been eating anyways. So things like that I'm just like, hey, I'm already eating them. Might as well double down. There is one particular one which is a shame because it's like one of the highest fiber things you can get, with also adding like good fats and stuff, which is avocado. I can't do it. Like
I don't like avocado either. It has the texture of like mucus.
Yeah, it's gross to me. It's the same thing. The texture and the fact that it doesn't, like, I'm a poor planner as it is, but like, it's if you're buying an avocado, you better have a plan for it because it's going brown really quick. And I never. Sometimes things get distracted, or I kind of lose track of what I'm doing, and yeah, that's just doesn't fit with my lifestyle. So
I think guac is good. Like once it's all seasoned and stuff, and chunks of tomato and onion or like whatever else you want to put in there, I feel like it's fine. But yeah, people that just spread that or like put it in their salads and stuff, and it's like I don't know how you do it. It's like a Mother Earth spit a logie, and that's what an avocado is. That's what it feels like in my mouth.
I agree. I definitely agree. And it's not for lack of trying. I've certainly tried over the years to avocado, and I'm not saying that I might not go back to it. But for now, I'm a bad millennial. No avocado toast for me. I'm sticking out of that. I'll have my broccoli, and broccolini is another one that I like. It's another high fiber thing. So I'll make sure to keep you all in check. This is probably the most consistent quote unquote diet thing I've done in my life. So
tracking your weight and stuff.
Yeah, seeing like it hasn't changed a whole lot, but it's only been like a week and a bit. So we'll see if that changes. But yeah, we've talked about this before. As you get older, there's little things you got to change about yourself that your younger self didn't have to worry about. Joys of getting old. Someone listening to this is for you. Take advantage of that young immune system or whatever, because it won't be around forever.
Yeah, go out to the bar till 1 or 2 a.m. on a weekday, then wake up for work at 7 a.m. or like whatever. Those days are so far beyond me. I can't
Oh
even believe I
man.
used to do shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. Staying up till 4 a.m. and it's like, why would I go to a place where like it's so crowded and loud and the drinks are way more expensive than drinks I could get at home, and I might have some random guys I don't know try and fight me at the end of the night. Like none of that
Yeah.
sounds fun to me anymore. But hey, it's all an experience.
You ever been in a bar fight?
One when I was in my early 20s, and I don't remember it. I just was told about it the next day. But
Oh, you get hit that hard?
I don't remember even going into it. So I was just so far gone, and that was kind of when I learned that me and whiskey don't get along too well. I turned into a bit of an instigator because I was apparently totally my fault. But I dragged like 3 or 4 other dudes that I knew into it, apparently.
So you're the guy that you were just talking about that's just starting fights with random people at the end of the night.
So yeah, that's me. You gotta worry about, you know. And yeah, it's a weird thought to think about someone like me starting a fight. But hey, I was a much different person back then. Now I'm a big old teddy bear just making podcasts on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing harmful about that. I guess of all people, you would know. But you know who else knows? The commenters. Oh, let's go. That was fucking sick.
Yep. Good one.
So I want to start with one that actually like it made me laugh out loud so hard last week. And it's to the point where I've pinned it. And was Dr. Morgenstein. The fact that the show basically starts with the joke being that Dink is getting old while he keeps actively saying the wrong name of the game he's been playing had me howling. And that is so funny because I was so confident that I was saying it correctly and that like it's just one word. Like, how could I say that wrong? When I read that, I immediately booted up my console. I was like, no way, I didn't make, did I really do that? And sure enough, yep. Yes, I told.
We were talking about it yesterday while we were watching Evo, and you were still saying it wrong.
Yeah, I know, right? It's Balatro, I believe, is how it's actually supposed to be pronounced, but I was calling it
Balatro.
Balatro, Balatro.
And you were calling it Balatro.
Balaro. I missed the T.
Balaro.
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 Which is a better name. I think it's a funnier name personally, but it is pretty funny how we were making fun of me, you know, being this old man playing this game while also saying the name of the game wrong. Just made it so much funnier to me. I love that so much. So thanks for calling me out on that. I've been really enjoying that game, by the way. I don't know, for people who are familiar with it, I've played it for about a total of 16 hours now and have completed 2 runs. So I don't know if that's bad or not, but it took me a while to figure out what was going on. Either way, I'll keep you updated on my Balatro game plans. Anyways, moving on here. Next comment, Stone Cold Stutter. Cool that you're still doing these. I've been back on MK11. I don't care what people say. I enjoy it. It has some shit stuff, but it's not all shit. Still fun. And we talk about that a lot, about the different games and what did things good and what did things bad. And there's lots of good stuff in MK11. I'm not a big fan of the gameplay personally, but I mean, we were, that's another thing we were talking about yesterday about haters saying you miss Scarlet, you know? Those characters that didn't make it over.
I do know. I wouldn't go back to that game, though. The more I talk about it, the more frustrated I get. I get, like, mad at it all over again. But it's just different strokes, right? Dude, in this day and age where everyone's just looking to piss in everybody's Cheerios, like, people feel so reluctant to talk about the things that they like because it feels like there's always people on the sidelines just waiting to tell you about how wrong you are, right? Or like the thing that you like is stupid, or there's a better version out there, the version they like, or whatever. I think it's so dumb. But yeah, I mean, if you enjoy it, then there's so many games, right? And people still play MKX and Injustice 2 and MK11 and all of that. So at this point, there's a version of Mortal Kombat, I feel like, for everybody, especially since the last 2 games we had Mortal Kombat back to back.
Yeah, it's true. There's so much Mortal Kombat out there. There's a MKX tournament happening at Evo today, actually. They're going to be streaming, so People love that game. That game has an insane cult following. MKX. MK11 doesn't have the same one that MKX does. MKX is a huge turning point for a lot of people, I think.
It's the best spectator Mortal Kombat for sure. Like sitting at home and watching Evo. If it was like an MK11 side tournament, I probably wouldn't even watch it. But because it's MKX, I'll definitely. I think it might be happening at the same time as. Well, they have all the top 8s happening right now for the main stage ones, like the top 3 games, top 3 or 4 games or whatever.
Right. So that'll be interesting. I'll give that a watch. But yeah, if you enjoy that game, I'm not hating. I'm not going to stop having fun. Like not that kind of thing. So all the power to you. Good on you. Let me know how that goes. Glad to hear you still listen to the podcast, even though you're not actively playing the current game. Because that's not all we talk about on here. We talk about all sorts of stuff.
Like fiber.
Like fiber, exactly. So little something for everyone here, Last comment here from Natty. When it comes exciting changes, I think we need a universal Movado push block for cameos, a buff to summon cameo moves, faster startups and better frames, cough cough, frost, carpet. And personally, I think that way more cameos should have faster armorless fatal blow options like Motaro and Sector. There are just too many characters with slow fatal blows. I'd like to see a beam for Frost, flying buzzsaw for Cyrax, and get over here spear for Scorpion. That's interesting. So that like every cameo would have like their own kind of version of a faster fatal blow. Like a Frost beam. That's interesting. Like she had
MK11.
An MK11, yeah. What do you think about that? You think that's the way to go for her?
It does seem like something that's cool for Motaro and for Sector, and it does seem a little bit silly to limit it to just them. If they don't want to give to everybody, they want it to be like a unique sort of characteristic. Like not every character gets everything, right? Like they just gave Baraka and Melina like just the installs and stuff, but left everybody else alone.
Right.
Except Johnny, who already had kind of like he can cancel his and stuff. I don't know if it should be universal. Push block should be. I absolutely agree. The fatal blow thing, I think those are cool ideas, but I just don't really like fatal blow in general.
That's
not
fair.
looking to make that any. But it is good to like catch somebody. It's like you can't be just whiffing full screen. I got Scorpion cameo. Right, you get the freeze frame, then a spear comes out and punishes you. I'd be down with that.
That'd be pretty cool. I like to see like Sub-Zero cameos, like an ice spike from the ground, that like tracks like Aquaman. I know you hate that kind of thing, but that's just like my idea when it comes to Sub-Zero cameo.
Yeah, it could be cool. The frost beam, right? Like imagine comboing from like a projectile full screen. Right, you had your hit advantage, and then you do the fatal blow, and it's fast enough that it just combos.
That would be super duper cool. So now I'm excited for ideas that aren't even existing yet. I don't know what Shujinko's would be, because like he doesn't really have any, projectiles or anything. His could just be like super fast, like Motaro's. Like he just does like a little like snake jab at your throat or something. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Something kind of stubby but fast, like what Motaro has.
So, and that's where that would kind of get difficult, is how do you differentiate them all when they're all just kind of, before they all just sort of become, different iterations of something else.
It becomes homogenized, and like what was like the uniqueness is lost.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's some cameos got a super cool idea, I'm sure Madame Bo could have like a bottle toss or something, but like, then what does Kano do? An eye laser? Maybe throw a knife?
Don't know.
Not a clue. But we'll see, because exciting quote-unquote changes are coming after EVO. And we just watched EVO this weekend, so I kind of wanted to talk about it. Because, I thought that this was a super-duper exciting EVO. Like, even, like, the pools, and, like, they were talking about, I think it was Mr. Aquaman and Ultra David, about that like middle portion, like that top 32 to top 8 being like the most exciting part of the tournament.
That's so funny, because I missed that, but I was watching some of the round 3 pools from Street Fighter 6, and he was commentating. Ultra David was commentating with Sajam, and he said the same thing, right? Like how pools are pools, and it's a bloodbath, and you have you can have upsets and people that go to losers early and stuff like that. But like once you're out of the quote unquote pool part, once you're in like top 96 or whatever, top 48, once you're kind of like beyond that, then the stakes just feel so much more raised, which just raises the excitement level from the spectator standpoint. I agree with that.
Yeah, because that's where like the upsets happen, and you see like people going out early. Like Rewind went out a little bit early. He was definitely slated for top 8, I would say almost for sure, and didn't even make it there. So I mean, those
Right.
types of things are like super duper exciting. So
And if you've made it that far, then the gameplay, there's an expectation with the gameplay that's going to be happening, right?
yeah, you're gonna see top level stuff and kind of
Right.
more meta characters, or maybe like character specialists. Where like the early pools, like because I watched the entire Mortal Kombat tournament, and the early pools, like there's 2 people that like they play. It's very clear that this is kind of like a side game for them or something, to the point where like
It's like Combat League.
basically, yeah. And then they they went to get up because they thought it was first to 2, and they're like shaking hands and walking off the stage, and like they're screaming at them like, no, there's one more game, you see them get
Every
ushered.
other game does first to 2 until like way later, and then it turns to first to 3. Sometimes that's top 8, and sometimes it's like a little bit before, but most do first to 2. So I definitely understand the confusion there.
Yeah, and that's what the commentators were saying. That's kind of what I thought too. Is like, because like fighting game players, we like to mess around with a bunch of different games. So like, especially if you're going to something like Evo, like if you even dabbled in a game a little bit, usually I'll just enter it just for fun and something to do. So that's more than likely what these players were doing, and they just assumed it was first to 2 because all the other games they're playing are first to 2, right? So
Right.
just kind of makes sense. That's I've entered Street Fighter 6, even though I've never really played Street Fighter 6 that seriously, but I played it enough to have fun, and like I understand fighting games to a point where I understand why I was beat, and sometimes I get beat by a gimmick that I don't realize. I'm like, oh well, sucks to suck, I guess. But it's just fun to compete, and like just getting that tournament experience, no matter what game it is like super duper cool. So I really enjoy it.
I think it's cool hanging out, playing casuals. It's like leading up to pools. Like, so I went to Evo in 2018 and 2019. 2019 was the first year for MK11. There's like 1,000 something people, like really big for Mortal Kombat. It was like a 1 or 2,000 people where we had multiple rounds of pools and stuff too. But like getting there early and playing casuals, like everyone's just trying to get all primed up and warmed up for ready for their pool to start. That's fun. Now those were the funnest games, and it's just so much. It's so much easier to walk away feeling like you learned something when it's offline. Whether that's a conversation with your opponent or just because there's no extra input latency because it's offline and stuff, and it just kind of like you kind of things kind of click a little bit more. I've always walked away feeling like a better player from offline situations for sure.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, it's like kind of easier in the moment to ask about things and just be like, what was that? Is that plus? That kind of a thing. And I don't know. Just a different
And it's
experience.
like if you start being salty, everyone's gonna be treating you like an asshole, right? Because that's like childish behavior. Like you can do that in your own home or do like whatever when you're playing online and salt out. It kind of like keeps you in check and keeps you from going there, which makes you actually like I feel like have more fun. There's like less. It's less stressful, like in a way.
Yeah, unless you're playing casuals with competitor. he
Yeah.
pops off so hard in casuals. It's so funny. Every single time he'll go in like a 3 loss, and then he'll win 1 and just like, whoa my god, did you see that?
It's like me where it's like
bro.
I fucking hate this game. I hate this game. I hate this game. Then I start winning, and then all of a sudden I'm giggling and stuff, and then I start losing again. I was like, man, this sucks. This is worse.
Yeah, but
Doomers.
it's not like an obnoxious way. It's just kind of funny that someone gets that excited about casuals, but it is what it is, and I agree with you. Like when you're setting up before the tournament starts, and there's like 6 or 7 setups at the table, and everyone's playing. It's just like this cool feeling of like camaraderie or something, even if you don't really know these people. It's cool.
I mean, you all share that in common, right? And it's not just like, hey, Mortal Kombat's cool. It's like you have taken time from your life, right? You have decided that this is a hobby and you've invested into it, like whether that's game knowledge and matchup experience and all that sort of stuff, right? Like you take it, seriously enough to where when you meet a complete stranger that also does the same thing, you at least have that in common, which just gives you stuff to talk about just by default, like what meeting somebody for the first time and you've got like the same favorite TV show or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What about this episode? What did you think about this episode? That kind of thing.
Right. And then you bond over your, love for Temperance Brennan or whatever. Did you ever watch Bones? Shout outs to Bones.
No, I've never seen that show. Is that it's like a LAPD kind of a thing, or like a cop show or something?
It is a procedural. Yes, it is a procedural about a forensic anthropologist and an FBI agent.
Ooh.
And the unliking for these, the bodies they find on federal ground, and they use the anthropologists, right? And they're determining, like, the cause of death, the kind of weapon that was used and stuff, or if they find like really old remains. We don't need to turn this into a Bones recap, but I don't even know if it would hold up, but man, I was into that show for a while.
That doesn't sound like anything I would ever be into, but hey, I'm happy for you that you love Bones. Bones fan over here.
Yep.
I'm just looking at the top 24 right now, and some of these, the path that some of these people had, like Gur, for example, like I'm seeing Gur beat Conqueror, Han Rashid, and then Scorpion Prox to make it into top 8. And man, what a Cinderella story Gur was. Like, they're just the breakdown as he made his first Evo top 8. I believe it's his first Evo top 8. Like, just completely broke down on stage. It was I was super happy for him, in like the best of ways.
It's an emotional release. Like when you have goals and you're struggling and you just keep at it and you finally get what you wanted. There's one of these soul streamers, right, doing these really long doing these competitive runs that is like literally 2 years of grinding. And when he gets it, he cries and he's like, I don't even know why I'm crying, right? It's just like this physiological reaction to finally obtaining the unobtainable,
Yeah. And for Gur, it's been like probably over a decade, because like I've seen Gur compete since like Injustice Gods Among Us. So like he's been grinding this season too. Like he's everywhere. Like it's Gur World Tour. He's every single event. He's hit all of them.
Yep, every single offline. He's definitely putting in the work, and he's taking it seriously. He's putting in he's paid his dues. And dude, against Scorpion Prox of all players and stuff as well, right? Like we know that must have been rough. That must have been very, very stressful matchup for him.
Yeah, and it was it came down to the wire too, and it was between, I think somebody dropped a combo and then the other guy dropped the combo, and then it was just a stray hit that took it. And I mean, especially Scorpion Prox coming off of the win at Blink Respawn, like winning the entire event and then just not even making top 8 at Evo is actually pretty crazy. But that's just Evo
and his
things.
Brother in grand finals.
Yeah, Nicolas beat Dialogue 3-0 to make it into top 8. And then beat Kanimani, who was a lot of people's favorites to win the event. Not mine. Mine was Sonicfox. But 3-1. And then me and Hater are watching this. There was like 7 or 8 of us in the Discord. Nicolas goes up 2-0 on Sonicfox. Sonicfox wins a round, and then the Hater just goes, reverse 3-0 incoming. And then, what do you know? Reverse 3-0 from the Fox to stay in winners, send Nicolas to losers.
That was right before he won that round, because Nicolas had such a life lead and stuff, and then Sonic started to get a little bit of momentum. It's like, there it is. Like, this is the mind penetration moment. If Sonic pulls this out, I'm just, shot in the dark, but I'm expecting reverse 3-0, and that's exactly what happened.
And that's like the tournament experience, right? Like there's just the composure and like being there in that moment, and Nicolas just slipping just that little bit to give Sonic the edge that they needed to reverse 3-0 against.
Yep,
an opponent like that is super impressive.
Agreed. And then Kale, I feel like, is my probably MVP, but the most pleasurable to watch. I really like watching his Kung Lao. I don't care about Homelander, right? But he was going to Kung Lao right out the gate. Usually starts Homelander, then falls back on Kung Lao. if he can't get his Homelander game started. But that was some good ass Mortal Kombat, let me tell you.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad that he opened with his Kung Lao. I'm not sure if he did the entire tournament, but everyone's been saying how strong his Kung Lao is, and that Kung Lao sector team is super duper sick. So you have like 2 missiles like homing in on you, and you just see Kung Lao just shuffling his way over to you. It's just like, oh no, what's the read?
His match versus Connie Mani was probably my favorite match of the whole weekend of all of like Evo. That was just too good. And the way that round ended, when 40 seconds left on the clock, he's got to do something. Kale's got to make a move. He doesn't have the life lead. And Connie Mani was just, laming him out. Next thing 25 seconds, he's got to do so. You have 13 seconds, son.
Yeah.
Right? And then just single hit confirm into fatal blow, gets the life lead with 1 second left on the clock. Fatal blow freezes the clock, of course. So Connie Mani's got to try to get one more scrambly hit in the 1 second that's left. And didn't quite make it. And that was pretty hype.
That was super duper hype. And like Connie, okay, so this whole top 8, I will say, was probably like one of the better top 8s I've ever seen at Evo. Like the matches, the character diversity, like 2 Gearses in top 8, with Gur and then Michael Seraphan. So like that was super cool. Hourglass of Rain with Melina. Yep. Connie Mani did a really good job of showing that Sindel isn't dead. Like you just, even though that forward 1 is a couple highs now, like just a super good job of spacing it correctly and using it for how you're supposed to be using it, not just like throwing it out in neutral all willy nilly. I thought that was super.
Yeah, just
cool.
like it's not a fishing tool anymore, right? It's okay, you whiffed, and here comes my button. Yep,
exactly. So and then throws in the Johnny Cage that I did not expect. Had no idea that he had a Johnny Cage, but good to see Johnny. I never thought I'd say this, but good to see Johnny Cage in the freaking thick of things with the Havocs and the Tremors and shit everywhere. So got a little bit of Johnny Cage action. So good.
I'd definitely rather see Johnny than T1000 or Homelander. And speaking of, we didn't have any T1000 in top 8, right?
No T1000. Here comes the downplay from the T1000 community. Well, not a single one in top 8.
I think that's fair considering how upplayed the character is. Like, he's annoying, like, for sure, and that mix is super, super annoying, but it's like just one of those. There's lots of annoying stuff that you just have to deal with, even if the counterplay is kind of like obnoxious, or you do feel like you're guessing, or But dude, it's an argument for character design, right? Not character power.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I agree with you. I don't think that T1000 is absolutely broken or anything like that. I just think he's just annoying. He's just characters. It's just a straight up guess. You got to guess. Sorry, you guessed incorrectly. Here's a combo. Into if it hits, great. Here's Movado. If not, oh well, he doesn't come out. So, but you know how Movado makes me feel.
Yep.
Losers finals
makes you feel like a scrub. Dink turns into @scrubquotesx at twitter.com.
Oh, you should hear
when
me.
We start talking about Movado.
Oh man, I'm definitely will end up there one day when I start talking about Movado, but who knows? No. Maybe he'll be adjusted after the next week.
Oh yeah,
or
any predictions? Any predictions for the upcoming patch?
They got to do something about Tremor, man. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they have to do something. That Cameo does literally everything. You want mix? You got it. You want projectiles? Absolutely. You want plus frames? Here you go. You want safety? Yep. You want quick
on top of all the block. Oh, that was one thing I noticed when we were watching yesterday, right? The body blocking is so obnoxious. Like talking about winning, like if you're already a character like Connie Mani, right? Playing Sindel, so you have a projectile. It's just such a good way to ensure that you're winning the projectile trades is that you basically negate theirs by calling out Tremor and putting him on his fraction of a second cooldown for taking the hit for you.
Yeah, I need to do something about that.
That shit's gotta go.
Yeah, so like that's kind of like that's my number one thing that I think that we'll see is Tremor being adjusted. I want to see if I can find this yeah, here we go. I'll put it on screen if you can see it. So again, Tremor, number one character used on stream at 22 times. A little bit of a mix up on the second played one, because usually it's Movado, which it is, but Movado tied with Farah and Kung Lao. So
And that's just because this is only going off streamed matches, right? And so we see the same player, like especially like in top 8 and stuff like that, right? Where they show every single thing. So
yeah.
of all of those Havocs and Mavados, like, I don't know, 8 or 9 of that is just Nicholas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You got to take that with a grain of salt too. But like, and even in the zero category, like Zero Jax does a good cameo. We've been talking about that, but you know, it's just he's not in the meta right now. He doesn't fit in the meta. You know, Serena, perfectly good cameo. Goro, absolutely ass cameo. Hopefully they buff him. I poor Goro's been the worst cameo in the game for 2 years. Can you believe that? Like, I think there was like a spark, like right at the start of the game, where he was like, kind of like okay, but that was before people realized how stupid some other stuff was.
I mean, I've heard players say that, like, so the first year of this game, so pre Chaos Reigns, it was basically armor launcher meta. And with this version of the game that we're playing now, we'll call it like season 2 or year 2, the Chaos Reigns era. It's a mix-up meta. So if the cameo is not doing anything to either bring you mix-ups or make your mix-ups more threatening or anything like that, I feel like they're just not really a consideration. It's like what I historically call just like these, you know, the flavor cameos, just fun teams, but
yeah, they're not going to be your top tier biggest, you know, guarantee a win kind of cameo, but
which is why like, Sarita's so powerful, right? But she's not doing anything for any sort of like mix-up game.
No, like outside of Cyrax with the meter drain and all that kind of stuff, you know, I mean, that shit's obnoxious. When you got to move that drains a bar a meter and then Serena draining another bar a meter, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is actually crazy. Or Serena giving you back a bar of meter for a 2-bar combo or a 2-bar special move.
That's why I like using her with Ghostface, is because you can just, you know, EX commit. So now you have your mid command grab and you get the bar you just spent on it back because the animation is like so long, plus the extra damage. So makes his command grab like way better. But it's not really, I feel like, how you play Ghostface. Like most successful Ghostface play him as a mix-up character with a lot of the assassin and the overhead, and or like with, you know, like with Mavado, and then he's getting stuff off of his low and his sweep and all that sort of stuff. And Serena's not going to do anything like that for you.
No, and that's where it's kind of a shame, because like I'm sure Serena isn't a bad, you know, cameo for Ghostface, but like again, why would you pick her when you can just pick Mavado and get a 3-way mix into a combo again, into a restand, into a 3-way mix, you know?
Right.
Ghostface is the true mix character. Get that T1000 stuff out of here. Why are you doing 2-way guesses when you could be doing 3 with Ghostface, you know?
Isn't T1000 like a 3 or 4-way?
What
do you have? Do you have overhead low command grab?
The overhead is, I think, the overhead and low is, I think, your true mix in that 4-3-4-3-4 string. But there's like a special way. I was watching Tweety do it yesterday on the stream where you can like kind of fuzzy the low and the command grab. So then you're only guessing.
And you have to react to the low not coming out, right? Because he can just stay in the puddle and then like cross you up and do something.
Yeah. So there's mind games behind it too. But if you want like the true 50-50, it's just like a 2-way guess with like 3 different mind games that can lead to something else. So
right, and both combo, like overhead low, like a Farah situation.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder, I would be surprised if Farah got any changes. I think she's annoying, but maybe her low could be a little bit more negative, because there is like, you know, some like Scorpion back 3 low Farah. Like, you ain't punishing that. That's like so far away.
Do you feel like they went too far with cameos, so too little with the base roster and too far with cameos to try to compensate for the shortcomings they have like baked into the core roster to make room for the cameo to kind of like complete the team or the character? Like, so we learned a lot about Marvel Tokon at Evo already in the way there. So that's a 4-team game, right? So your point character and then 3 assists. And from, I might get this wrong, but from like what I've gathered, right? Every character, like when they're in an assist position, they have 3 possible assist moves, but it depends on what position they're in, right? Have you seen the UI? It's like a little diamond, and so, if you move, like, clockwise, you have, like, a total of, like, your 4 characters, and depending on what slot they are, depends what, like, assist ability they can use, whether that's, like, a vertical, like an anti-air or a projectile or whatever, and we're over here in MK1 with cameos that have, like, 11 fucking moves, Like,
Yeah.
you feel like that's I mean, they're different games, obviously, and there's more things, so let's say at any given point in that game, you have access to 3 different assist moves, assuming you have your full, team unlocked. But, I mean, that's, like, bare minimum, I feel like, for cameos in MK1. Would you rather have seen, like, characters a little bit more fleshed out and the cameos more simplified? Do you think they'd be less of a gimmick and less of a feature in this game? Or do you feel like they didn't go far enough and we should be doing way wackier shit?
I feel like there's like contrast on both ends, and that's what makes it just like not work. Like you've got like Tremor, who, like I mentioned earlier, does literally everything. You've got Darius, whose move list is longer than Lee May's. And then you've got characters like Johnny Cage, who are just punch in the face, couple knees, forward 3, that kind of a thing. But then on the other end, you have a character like Cyrax, who's got all these different bombs and these flips and these air moves and all these different things. And then, like, there's no rhyme or reason that I can see, like, sure, I would agree that some characters are more simplified for the cameos to fill those spots, but then there's other characters like Ghostface, for example, who has 3 different stances and all these different moves and all these different stances, and then you throw a cameo on top of that with all these different moves and all these different things, and it's just like, what is going on here? What is the point? Like, it would make more sense to me if you had like a character like Johnny Cage and Kano, for example, where like Kano gives him a projectile where you wouldn't have one otherwise, or Quan Chi and say Movado, where Movado gives him the push block because he wants to zone and get out of there, like those are the things that make sense to me for the cameo system that I'm just not seeing. If that makes, did I answer your question, or did I just go way off topic?
No, that's good. I feel like it was a really open-ended sort of thing. I was interested to see where you were going to take it, and I think all that's absolutely valid. And again, this falls into the different strokes for different folks sort of thing. Like, and I just always feel like when we talk about stuff like that, there's just people just waiting on the outskirts to been like, "You're wrong, and this is why your opinion sucks. Why don't you get good?" And it's just, just talking.
Just talking, just giving opinions on things,
Yep.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what gets mixed up in this. I will say that the Evo Losers Finals was probably the most exciting Losers Finals that I've watched in recent memory, because the idea of setting up Kanimani versus Sonicfox in grand finals of Evo was just the most exciting thing to me. And then it just ended up being Nicholas Sonicfox. I was not excited to watch that at all. I've just seen that so many times that I'm just like,
we've seen it so many times. And the Kanimani one, even though it was just like, that was a good match. That wasn't like, oh, okay, Havoc Movado, here we go again, or whatever. No, like the mind games that were happening and the neutral that was being played, these two people, regardless of what either of their teams were, right? Like, that was some good ass Mortal Kombat.
That was some good ass Mortal Kombat. And like, for your like first time in North America to be playing on that big of a stage, like just the composure that Kanimani had, like you weren't seeing like any super crazy dropped combos or doing like super high execution stuff. Like it was just like he wasn't even phased. It was just super duper impressive to watch.
The decision making under that kind of pressure from both of those players. I mean, and it goes beyond top 8. There were like so many good matches, like in top 24 and beyond, and even like before that, right? But it was all good. Like I didn't feel like there was any slop or any like real kind of like eye rolling, except like I might be in the minority here, but I guess you already kind of hinted at it. Once you get to like grand finals, it's like, okay, we've been here, and now it's the Cyrax game again and stuff, and it's all Sonic. I hope that Sonic gets their 8th Evo win and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not invested in the game at all. Like I don't care what happens now,
And that's not to throw any shade at either of those players, right? Like I totally respect how they're just the top of the craft, but it's just you know, suffering from success kind of a thing, you know.
Dude, and it's exactly, and it's like no shade at Taylor Swift. I just don't need to hear that fucking song once an hour every time I'm in my car, right? Like it gets to a point to where what I once, was kind of tapping my foot to is now just kind of like, okay, this is just, I feel like I'm being brainwashed.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. It was, I was hoping Connie would pull it out, but Nicholas is a hell of a player. So, it is what it is.
Yep.
One thing that was super entertaining that I saw was, I can't remember his name. Let me see if I can go back. Someone that was playing Natara Darius on stream.
I saw that match.
And I was like, what the hell?
He was playing against Pure, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about that match versus Pure, and Pure was playing Cyrax.
Yeah, and I was like, I was really impressed. Like, it's because I've seen like full auto play, but like, I wish I could remember the player's name that I was thinking of. Because I was super duper impressed.
Acid or something, I want to say.
It was like magic or something like that. But like,
hold on, I think even like Honeybee made a video specifically for that set because it was so.
Yeah, it was. There was just some super cool stuff.
His channel real quick.
And I think on
don't
stream,
just type Honeybee into YouTube, right? It's not going to pull him up in the algorithm. It's going to be a bunch of others.
Yeah, there's a Honeybee is a lot of things,
Yeah. His name was.
I thought it was like magic or something like that, but maybe I'm misremembering.
Mars.
I got the M right. That's what I was. So shout out to Mars. I was super duper impressed by that pairing. I wish he would have made it further, but it's Evo. It's a creme of the crop, or whatever they say.
I love seeing a well played Natara. I'm a big fan. And before I forget again, because you were grumbling about it yesterday or the day before, you want to give the world your opinion on the game overlay at Evo?
Oh yeah, it was too simple for me. It looked really lazy. the on-screen scoreboard, and I mean, this is just my opinion from someone that's made scoreboards and like kind of knows a little bit about what goes into them. That was I don't know. To be fair, I didn't know if that was just MK1 or if that was the whole event.
No, that's universal, and I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a nice change of pace because we always get I feel like it has the exact same amount of work, right? It's just they used rectangles instead of skewing them out to make like angled lines at the end, and the font isn't like a big like what we're used to. Like I feel like we're so accustomed to seeing a scoreboard a certain way that it is like a little bit jarring, especially the font because it's so thin and kind of like small, right? It's not like this big imposing thing on your eyes, but I kind of raised my nose at it at first, but after I watched a little bit of Evo, I was like, I actually kind of like it. I kind of like the simplicity. It feels like I'm watching more of the game, and my eye's not always just drawn up to the scoreboard. It's there if I need it. Yeah,
which is true. Like it's kind of a less is more kind of idea. Which like I certainly appreciate. I don't know. It just seemed weird. Like they had like the country, but there was only like 2 letters, so sometimes it was like kind of unclear what country was being represented there.
That is true, and I think they just used like the ISO codes.
Yeah, and that's where
like whatever's like internationally recognized. I don't think because people are like, why did they use DO for Dominican Republic? Shouldn't that be DR? We already call it the DR, but I'm sure they're using like the proper international signification codes or whatever, like what you'd use in finance or like anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
did seem weird, but less work than putting in a flag for everybody, and less embarrassing when they really get that wrong.
Yeah, I remember playing on Rips once, and he had a American flag on my thing, and I'm like, I'm not actually from America, and he's like, I'm sorry, that's the only flag I have for North America. I'm like, okay,
dang, no Canadian. Well, he should have a Canadian flag because Honeybee's
on there a lot. Yeah, I think it has something to do with the software or something that he uses, but either way.
Wow.
And the more that I'm looking at this, the more I'm seeing how many people this is their first Evo top 8. Like Hourglass of Rain, Tani Mani, Gur, Online Kale, Michael Seraphan. Half of the top 8 is like brand new first time top 8ers. That's super cool. I didn't actually realize that until I'm looking at it right here.
So who's left? Nicholas, Sonic, and
Javier,
Javier. He's been in Evo top 8 before.
he was in Evo top 6 last year.
He was okay.
Yeah. Oh, is that it? That was more than half then. Yeah, Michael Serafin, Online Kale, Gur, Hourglass of Rain, and Kanimani. Yeah, so 5 of the top 8 are brand new. Huh. That's super cool. I think that's a super good sign of the game too, right? And getting new faces up in the finals.
It is kind of nice. Like there's certain things that you kind of like forward to, right? Like you want to see Tekken Master versus Sonic or Foxy versus, like whomever. But it's nice to see like, oh, I've never seen this episode before. This will be cool.
Yeah, for sure. So it's and regardless of how good / bad some of them did in the top 8, I'm like Hourglass of Rain is a super sweet person, so I was really happy to see them make a bit of a run into top 8.
Something else.
Yeah,
like definitely the premier Molina player. Like no disrespect to anybody else, but I feel like even they would agree that he kind of like broke the code,
Yeah, he figured her out, and even like using her install, that we saw, because I remember when that change first came out, people were kind of skeptical of it. And we're like, I don't know about this.
I remember him specifically on like the first week. He's like, I just can't find a good use for this. This just feels gimmicky or whatever. And you saw him like win matches with it, this weekend. Definitely. Yeah,
and I was thinking about that too. Like her mix with that Kung Lao hat, and it's just like, that's some scary shit. And I think
the trick, I think you get more success using it in pressure, like trying to open somebody up for a combo rather than like her hit confirming into it and trying to do a combo bigger than your fatal blow would give you, like sort of thing. And that's kind of what it's for, is to give you something different. If you want damage, go for your fatal blow. If you need to open them up in the first place to get damage, then, install is like a way you could do that, especially with her assortment of lows and overheads.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just cool to see that in Evo top 8. And what a run, coming 4th place, I believe. Behind Sonic, Nicolas, and Kanimani. So that's a really good showing for your first Evo, especially like considering like the other offline events that he went to. He had to bow out early due to personal stuff. So it was cool to see him actually be able to make the run this time. And like not only him, but like a bunch of the players having family there cheering them on. Like, I can imagine how proud Online Tony is of his son's first Evo, top 8, right? That's stuff like that is just super cool, super wholesome. What I love to see in the scene.
Right. It is. I mean, it's like a passing of a torch. We're looking, and that was something that transcended like the MK community, right? Which was a combo breaker where Online Tony won his 3rd strike bracket, and Kale also won the tournament. Was that combo breaker?
I think that was CEO. Oh, maybe it was CEO? Combo breaker.
I remember seeing like Tekken people posting about like, I love this story, right? Generations of fighting game players, father and son, both win their respective brackets in one weekend. Like it's cool. I think people are about that energy, and it's cool that, half of that is happening. That's like in our player base, it's like happening in our neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super neat, especially since the very first Evo top 8 I ever watched had Online Tony in it, was MK9, and Online Tony was there with Cabal. So it's kind of cool. And I think I played against him at SCR in like 2012 or 2013 or something like that. I think he sent
SCR doesn't exist anymore, right?
I wish that. I love that event so much. Just like so many people down there are like, I'm just so close with, and like, I don't know. That's such a good scene. Like, it's crazy to me that they don't have like a major there anymore. Like Alex Valle.
I think COVID killed
guys.
off a lot of those kind of like tier 2. Like the big ones survived, but I think we lost. Defend the North and SCR and
right.
Is Texas Showdown still doing stuff?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that one's still going. There's one in Virginia, I think, I don't really remember how big or whatnot it was, but that one's not going anymore. So, which is a shame, but there's still lots of like weeklies going on of all over the place. So if you're ever interested, look it up and see if there's one in your area. I know that MK New Jersey does things every week. Darth Arma and them. So that's
so if you live in like the It's pretty condensed up there in the Northeast. People drive out to do their monthly tournaments or however often they do them, right? Like drive in from Philadelphia and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, always encourage you to check out your locals if you're interested in making that transition. Because yeah, that's everyone there is just there to learn and play the game and get better and just make some friends. It's super good experience. There's one topic I wanted to touch on a little bit, just as we close out here, and that's on like the history and the legacy of Sonicfox. Because like as we were saying, like 8th Evo win is absolutely crazy, and I think they mentioned he's actually tied Justin Wong for most Evo wins in history. So like that's actually pretty huge. So like, and I see all these people saying like, oh, so and so is the next Sonicfox, or oh, so and so is like, this person's the next Sonicfox, and it's like that is such a huge legacy to be throwing at somebody like so early on in their career, kind of a thing. Like the idea of Sonicfox has been kind of dominating things since he was just young. Since I remember seeing Sonic at like an MK9 event, and then he was
not
like
to cut
12.
you off. I think that Justin Wong has 9 Evo titles, so Sonic is in the running to beat him, right? Whereas like nobody else is really close, like not even
on the same
not
level.
in the vicinity. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think Justin is even actively competing as much anymore. So I mean, that could be like a standalone thing that one more. Sonic ties it, one more after that, Sonic beats it. So, and then like I think like everybody in every scene knows who Sonicfox is, so like that in itself is just such a legacy to uphold, So it's, I don't know, I'm always careful about that, saying that so and so is the next. They have signs that they could be, but it depends. It's Sonicfox is always my goat. Let me tell you. As far as I'm concerned, but that was my whole generation, right, of competing was kind of, I won't say alongside Sonicfox, because I was never like at that level, but every tournament I went to, watching the finals, they're up there. So it's just something I wanted to touch on a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if anyone ever has the same level of success. And Sonic isn't stopping either. It's not like Sonicfox is retiring or whatnot. Still going.
Right.
Still going, so we'll see what happens. I know they were saying they wanted to start or like kind of create their own fighting game. I really hope that comes to fruition. It would be crazy to see what kind of a game that is, because I know they're big on set play and that kind of a thing. Not actually sure if it was a game I would enjoy.
It would be way too cracked out for me. Like it would move way too fast.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one. I like a little bit more. Which is weird that I never like got into Tekken or anything or Street Fighter, because like I do like the more fundamentals and the spacing and the whiff punishing, and not just getting in and guessing and
I mean, that's kind of what Street Fighter is like. It's kind of a mixed bag or whatever. But that's I feel like it's that like with all these tag games coming out, that's the kind of stuff. I know I'm not going to play all of them. Like I might try them, but I'm not going to play them. But that's the thing that I pay attention to, like the pacing, the speed and stuff. Because sometimes things are like moving fast, but you feel like, okay, well, it's just a matter of like playing more and things start to slow down and it's not as bad as you thought it was. And some things are just a little out of control. And things I hear like anime players saying like, this gameplay looks slow as fuck. And I was like, oh my God, I can't even keep track of what's going on. So
right.
I'm definitely done for.
Yeah, I don't know what Street Fighter 6 is like. Last Street Fighter I took seriously was Street Fighter 4, USF4 specifically. And like that game felt pretty like, spacing, fundamental, kind of move in and out. There's some silliness, I'm sure, like any fighting game. But from what I've heard, Street Fighter 6 is a little bit crazier, a little bit more cracked. Even me trying to play it myself, I just get like parried or drive rushed or whatever every time I try and do something.
Yeah, drive rush really kind of takes a lot of neutral out of certain games, but there's like there's counterplay and stuff to it and ways to like check it, but it is a lot more of kind of like you can't trust the space that's in front of you, right? Like you're not just thinking about buttons, you're thinking about drive rush into buttons. And and that becomes a baiting game and stuff too. So, and just so much Oki off of every touch.
Yeah,
strike throw, baby.
Strike throw meta. You love to see it. I might pick up Virtua Fighter 5 again, just because that game's pretty true to that kind of genre. It's
Who do you
basing
play in that?
fundamentals.
Who are you hoping for in the Virtua Fighter 6? As of the time of this recording, they still haven't announced it. I think that people were expecting something maybe official this weekend or more details, like another little character hint, like they've given us before. But who are you hoping for? Who do you play in that game?
The two characters that I play are Wolf and Shundi. Now, Wolf, I pretty much just picked him up because he's Canadian, from what I understand. So he's a grappler, which is not my kind of genre. But at the time, the last time I took this game seriously, it just, I don't know who I played. And then
he's the one they revealed. He was like the little teaser that we got. He got quite the little glow up there.
He does. He looks awesome. I'm don't know if I'll play him as seriously this time around. Because after I kind of messed around with the game and then I picked up Shundi, that character is so fun. Like that's
who is that? Shundi?
Shundi, yeah. He's this old man, like drunken master thing. So his whole thing is like his base moveset is pretty lackluster. But you have to find ways to like sneak drinks, like Drunken Master and Baraicho kind of. And like it's kind of one of those things like Quan Chi's Rune Trap.
You start as a bad character and then you unlock and become a regular character as you get more drinks.
Yeah, so the strategy is finding all these different ways to get drinks, and then just opens up your moveset and you get all these crazy like mix-ups and combos and all sorts of things. So like worst character in the game with 0 drinks, best character in the game with max drinks.
And why don't you play Jamie in Street Fighter?
I don't. He annoys me. He just annoys me, and I don't know what it is about him and his big flowing hair and stuff like that. And he goes all red. I don't know. It's something about him.
That's when he gets all of his drinks. He's red like an alcoholic, you know.
Yeah, I do know. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just Street Fighter 6 in general just doesn't jive with me. Like I've been playing the game and I've kind of enjoying messing around with it, but like as soon as I play against another human, I'm just like, no, it's not. It's just not for me. Different strokes, as you say, right? So I mean, but we'll see what.
I think fighting games we talked about earlier, right? They require a commitment, like an investment and stuff, and it is kind of like the games that are fun in practice mode. Then you fight against a human, and now that you're in this real-time decision-making like sort of thing, especially if they play regularly and you're trying to learn or catch up and stuff like that, it definitely is pretty defeating. And then you get to that point, it's like, okay, I'm going to have to commit this amount of time if I want to be playing to even like kind of like keep up and stay crispy and stuff. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Not for this game. I know the feeling.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's how I felt about Tekken 2. Like I was enjoying playing Lily and I was having fun. And then I just got to a point where like I ran into like 6 or 7 different characters in ranked. And I'm like, I'm going to have to learn all these matchups. Like, no, thanks. There's too many. That's just too much of a time sink for, I just want to play this game casually and mash around. But I also like have a competitive spirit too. So it's like, I can't help myself with being like, oh, I need to beat that. I should have beat that person, And then that's when I just need to step away and say, no, I'll leave this game for somebody else.
Like unless it like grabs you. I've never known you to grind a game like Mortal Kombat. Like a lot of us around here have played like other games, not always at the same time, right? But you put in the like Brown Boy who plays Strive, and Carl plays Grand Blue, and we've got Tekken players and all of that sort of stuff too. I've never seen you hit the grind outside of NRS.
It's funny you say
Something
that.
about them just does it for you specifically.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like the mechanics stay like it's easy for me to pick up on changes and intricacies and all that different stuff with NRS because like I kind of am familiar with. They always have like, I don't know, it's a familiarity within the series, if that makes sense. Even though like each game plays pretty differently, there's just something familiar about what to expect from that series that I don't really like get from the other ones. I was watching the Grand Blue Evo finals last night, just kind of out of boredom. I was just throwing it on and seeing what was on. And someone was playing my character I used to play, Matera. And I was like, oh, hey, Matera hype, let's go. And then I ended up watching the whole top 8. And it was actually pretty entertaining. I didn't really know what was going on, but I was like, I could probably probably pick up this game again. And then the same thing. I just kind of looked up the character select screen and I was like, that's too many matchups. I don't want to do that.
That's like one of those games that people call slow for like an anime game, like not an anime game, but you know, whatever, where I'm just kind of like, okay, if you think this is slow, then I'm like royally hosed.
Right. Yeah, I would, as far as the anime games go, I would probably agree. It does look slow, but even then it doesn't mean it is slow. It's just slow in comparison kind of idea. So, but it's interesting. Might be fun to mash around. I'm not sure if I own the newest version or not, or if it was just an update.
I think it's free to play, maybe. You buy it for the characters, but I think you can actually just download and play the game.
I think I originally
Grand Blue Rising.
Yeah, I think I had the old Grand Blue game on PlayStation, which I don't have anymore. I'll have to look into it and see. I don't know.
Yeah, that game's gone.
Yeah, that netcode was ass. I remember that. I'm all playing that during the pandemic, and
it's kind of what that game came out right before lockdown. It came out in early 2020, and so it definitely failed that test, right? When everyone just had to play online. You know, I'm just playing people in Discord. I'm always playing like online, and that just definitely was not going to be a sustainable game.
Yeah,
in that regard.
It's a shame. Like the roster was a lot smaller for that game, so I found that a little bit more manageable, and it was fun to mash around. But yeah, the online just wasn't fun. It was like going back to playing like MK9 online. I was like, no, thank you. Just used to that lag. But it was something that we used at the time to just kind of something new and shiny kind of idea. So,
right.
I find that the games that I end up grinding are single player games, and I don't really know why. Like for whatever reason, like Fire Emblem, that's not a short game to play through, and I played through it like 14 times. And then Expedition 33, I'm working on my 7th playthrough right now, and I'm trying to do like single run throughs of the characters. So like I'm grinding those games, but I don't know why I just don't find the urge to grind other fighting games. I don't know. That's how I get enjoyment out of games, I suppose.
I think it's what you get out of a game when you play it by yourself. And when you play a fighting game by yourself, you're like either practicing something or doing a quick tower grind, to unlock a skin or whatever. Otherwise, you're playing against humans all the time. And that kind of determines how good of a time you're going to have, right? What their play style is, their skill level. We've all had the days where you go into Combat League and it just seems like there's nothing but shitheads. It's just like this is the worst time, and other times where it's the opposite.
Yep.
So
you have a good time. They send you the GGs, GG's big fan. Beat the shit out of you.
So maybe that's why it's harder for grind. It's harder to grind if you just don't want to play matches all the time. If you ever just kind of like want to mess around by yourself, there's only so much that you can do.
Yeah, and like you almost like for fighting games, you like almost need like a buddy to like help you along, to like tell you what's what you need to do. Yeah, exactly. You can't just trying to learn it by myself. The amount of times I've tried to learn things by myself, like Street Fighter was a good example. I was learning JP, found a couple cool combos, worked out some kind of zoning patterns, and went online, and someone just completely negated all of the stuff I just did, and that's when I was like, nope, I don't care.
Yeah, and like some of it's like really simple, right? Like this is really common in the game, and all you need to do is this, or this is like how they're beating it, and then you just end up baiting them for trying to take a risk and do. I guarantee you, nobody at whatever level you were playing is doing anything like too big brain to beat it. They just happened to. They just guessed right. Like they weren't thinking about what you were doing. It just happened to hit you because you did a portal behind their head or something like that.
Right.
But it's that sort of like situation. And it is good to have like a training partner and somebody that can like call you out. You do start to get into the groove, right? And you understand the system mechanics and stuff, but it's still, you have these habits, or you're always pressing here, or you always do this after drive impact or tech throw and stuff. And having a training partner there to like punish you and call you out for stuff like that is good. Kind of keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good thing to learn alongside somebody, or have someone who's knows a little bit more what they're doing, so they can help you along. Because the amount of people that quit fighting games because they're just kind of on their own. Sure, there's tons of people out there, and different games too. So,
yep.
That's why community is important. So, that being said, that concludes for another week here. Let us know what games you're grinding and what you thought of Evo, and what you think of Final Combat coming up in just over a month now. So that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out. Subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in your next video.
Accept your death.